here, let's go to the plugged in betas first. So this is about the bottom 80% of men. This is the vast majority of guys out there. These are the guys that mostly get wrecked in family law, that have their kids removed from them. They're alienated from their children. They have a very hard time operating. These are the same guys that fall into the category where they self-delete themselves if things aren't going well in their life because they don't have anything else to live for. So these are the blissful ignorance fellas. They bend the knee to women and societal narratives. They put women on a pedestal, life and social media. They chase women relentlessly, not excellence, right? Like these are the guys that you'll see comment on Reddit posts or on social media, and they'll be saying shit like, you know, I got a good job. I make $47,000 a year. I have my own Tesla. I'm a really good guy, and women just don't like me. I don't understand why. Like these are the same guys that'll blow up Reddit with these posts. A lot of them you'll see me share on Twitter, and it's always the same sort of guy, plugged into lies, right? Like there's a guy that I shared the other day was talking about being upset that dating is so performative. Like you have to perform and compete, and it's like, dude, men compete, women choose. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way. Sitting around and sulking or whining about it and being a plugged in beta is not going to solve any of those problems for you. Again, all of these quadrants over here that I'm covering for you are of significance and relevance because I'm talking about your part first. We're going to do your part, her part, the setup to having the kids, and then the execution, which is once the kids come along in this video. So again, this is the you part. Okay, you do not want to be in this cat. This is the worst category for any guy to be in if they're thinking about having kids. If you're in this category right now, recognize it and then do the work to level up to move into one of the top categories. These guys will try to negotiate desire. They'll use things like chore play, like, honey, if I just do enough chores, will you bang me and give me starfish sex? They're insignificant, generally invisible to most women. It's very, very hard for these guys to get the attention of the women that they're attracted to. Again, I've mentioned this on many shows before, but it's very, very typical and common for guys in this category. They'll get a date, they'll get a girl, they'll start dating her, they might become exclusive. You know, it's usually the first girl that touches their pee-pee that they fall head over heels in love with, and they just start putting her up on a pedestal and very, very quickly go through betatization through 1,000 concessions and turn her off. You do that, you're screwed. She's going to take your kids and run. You know, she's going to look at you as a guy that she might have seen as adequate at that time, handsome enough to be with or to reproduce with, but changes her mind later on down the road when she sees that you're not the guy that she wanted to be with on a long-term basis. These guys are physically out of shape. Guys, there's no reason for you to be physically out of shape. None whatsoever. If you get out of the shower and you look down, you can't see your Johnson because there's belly fat covering it, or if you've got female breast tissue when you're running down the stairs and they're jiggling, you're out of shape. You just can't be in that. There's no woman out there that pine for men with dad bods. That is a bullshit lie that the mainstream media has been selling to you for decades now, where they're telling you, oh, women like a guy with a dad. That's bullshit. There's absolutely no dating site out there where women can select from fat dudes. There's no chubby chasing sites where women select guys that are physically out of shape. If you're shaped like a pear, you got to fix it. Okay, it's not to be a better parent. It's not for her to keep her attracted. This is for you. A lot of this stuff that I talk about is for you to be the leader, for you to get what you want out of life. This is for your physical health, okay? Physical health. Let's keep going. They're fragile, and they allow women to become problems in their lives. So we were talking earlier over here about the notion of fragility and anti-fragility and robustness. These guys are all fragile. These are the guys that will hop into shows to ask me questions or DM me during chaotic times, like when we had the scamdemic, and they'd be like, Rich, I work at this company, and if I don't take this experimental Jabba juice here, I'm going to lose my job. What should I do? I got a mortgage. Like, you're fragile at that point. You don't have options. You don't have a way around it. You don't have a solution to a problem. And many people found solutions to that problem at that time, whether it was an exemption that they leveraged, whether it was through like unions that they leverage, whether it was through the opportunity to move into another line of work or another company. They found ways to solve problems. Fragility is unattractive, and it limits your ability to maneuver. Again, you do not want to be fragile. Robustness is fine, not ideal, but anti-fragility, when chaos comes your way in your life, you benefit from it. You understand? These are guys that complicate their life and they justify why they do it. Again, 80% of men fall in this category. The vast majority of guys. I see this shit all the time when people forward me these Reddit posts, and I post them to Twitter with my own commentary. These are the nice guys that complicate their life and justify why. They'll do the dumbest things, make the most silliest concessions, and then ask the most absolute absurd solution to problems that they're dealing with of people they don't even know, hoping to get good guidance. Complicate life, justify why. I made a bad choice. I'm going to justify why I made a bad choice, right? That's all that complicate life, justify why is. That's what plugged in betas do. They also believe the mainstream media. They vote for big government. They also vote for control. You notice similarities here, okay, between plugged in alphas and plugged in betas. They have very similar traits. The biggest difference is these guys are more of the naturals, the good-looking chads, but they still do dumb shit. Like they'll say, oh, universal basic income is a great idea. Let's vote for more big government. Happy wife, happy life. These guys will say it. These guys will say it. The difference is these guys are more attractive to women than these guys. They can be very successful leaders and entrepreneurs, AKA useful puppets. So I've talked about weapons in this segment over here. Again, I've sat across tables that have been guys that have been running 8-figure businesses. They're chads, they're tall, they're good looking, handsome, chisel jaw, that sort of stuff, but they still sit around, go happy wife, happy life. There's even more guys that are plugged in that can be weapons as well, running 8-figure businesses that are absolute nerds, okay? And they don't embody the strength, courage, and virtues that we can talk about often when it comes to the alpha characteristics. Now let's keep moving on. We're going to go over here to the Unplugged beta. This is where most of the movement happens, okay? The blissfully ignorant will hit chaos, and then they unplug, and then they shift up to here, which I call the danger zone. Again, this is the bottom 10% of guys, right? So the bottom 80% of men fit in this category. You get the other bottom 10% that are the unplugged betas, and then the split of the 5% over here, and the unplugs, on the alpha side of the equation. Let me go back to the zoom in here. So again, this is the danger zone. Trauma brings these guys to the point of unplugging. Their girlfriend cheats on them. Their wife wants to divorce them. They are betrayed in ways that they can't fathom. Women say something and then do something completely different that brings trauma or chaos into their life. That's okay. Now they're unplugging. Now they're heading to the danger zone. I call this a danger zone because most guys stay in this zone, right? They are generally mad, and they stay mad when they unplug from the lies. They were lied to over here. They realize I've been lied to. They move up here. They're still betas, but now they've unplugged from the lies, and they see the truth from the lies. But they often stay mad. They often stay in the zone. They don't level up and move into a better category. Many wallow in misery and stay at this point perpetually. They're very similar to plugged-in betas, but now they see the truth. That's the only difference, okay? Very few of these guys will do the work to level up. They stay in a state of unplugged but beta. These are the guys that you'll see that'll congregate in these whiny groups where they'll be like, you know, I was dealt a raw hand and I'm not good looking enough to get girls. I was dealt a raw hand. My skin is the wrong color to get a girl. I'm only using girls as a reference, point here because that's one of the important metrics that we're going to talk about when it comes to finding mother stock, right? Most are missing a fastidious, relentless pursuit of excellence. They don't have a purpose. They've unplugged. They see what society responds to. They see what men favor. They see what women are attracted to. But they don't have a relentless pursuit of excellence. They don't have a purpose in life. Many are the smartest people in the room. A lot of these unplugged betas, they'll unplug, they'll realize what's real, they'll realize what's lies, but they surround themselves with losers. It's like they're the king of the losers. I said over here earlier, If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. This is what the unplugged alphas will do. They never allow themselves to remain the smartest person in the room. They understand a network, a good network is their net worth. These guys over here, they just surround themselves with nerds because they want to be king of the nerds, right? It's like crabs in the bucket. They can complicate life and justify why they do it, not to the same degree as these guys will because they're unplugged at this point, but they still, if they're not in shape, if they're still lacking a grind or a purpose, that's what keeps them. That's why I call this a danger zone. It's a bad place to be. But they don't trust the mainstream media or the state. Okay? Understand? Cool. So that's the you part. It's really important for you if you want to get an excellent result out of being a father, because that's what this is about, is how do you become a father. I see some super chats here, guys. I'm going to get to those. I will, I promise. So just leave them in there. I'll go to these questions in a bit. You have to level yourself up. There's no two ways about it. You want to go and have a family, you want to have children, you want to try to do it as a fat dork, try. But the vast majority of women at some point will get bored with you. They'll put you through betatization. They'll run you through the grinder, the divorce grinder, and take a lot of your wealth and your resources and alienate you from your kids. It's just how family law operates. I've covered it in my book, The Unplugged Alpha, Why Smart Men Don't Marry Anymore. There's lots of reasons for it. Guys in my category, in my age group, generally don't get married when they're unplugged alphas again. Are there circumstances that it might be warranted? Maybe. We'll talk about that in another show. But they definitely get the best results out of life in the top quadrant. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.